everyone. Terrence Burke, Wump Mucket Puppets. Kind of a silly name, but it's ours. And we ask you to like us here on Facebook if you're watching anywhere in the world. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and even have a YouTube channel. Although we've been trying it here on Facebook Live because of the simplicity of just clicking the button and going and turning my studio area here into a little TV studio with some lights going on. Moved it out of the dining room. It was kind of a bother for my family. But today is World Puppetry Day all over the world. And sadly, it's kind of a crummy time of the world right now, isn't it? But we're getting by, and we're trying to do things together and have some fun. And being World Puppetry Day, I thought I would dig out some of the puppets, both mine and ones that have been given to me, and ones that I have collected over the years as a puppeteer and even as a child. But you saw that graphic there. We'll bring up one of my more modern puppets. Hello there, my name is Gordon the Pumpkin Man, and I'd like to welcome you all to World Puppetry Day on Wump Mucket Puppets Facebook Live. Ho ho! I'll see you later on. Ho 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 ho. Thank you, Gordon. So, you wonder how puppeteer and how you get into such things as that. For me, it was being a child growing up in the 1960s. In fact, you see one of the characters that I really enjoyed. And here's a picture that I found in an old book. I didn't rip it out of the book, and it's not a library book, but that is Burchill Strim and Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. And Burchill Strim is a puppeteer that I saw his programs on the CBS Children's Film Festival in the 1960s, 1970s, and I always loved, pardon me, the puppet bits, and they were really engaging, but then they'd cut to a movie, which I enjoyed the movies too. However, it was the puppets I wanted to see. And then eventually I learned about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Sesame Street, and that was kind of the big moment where I really became enthralled with puppets. And this is a piece of my childhood that I still have. Scram! Go away! This is a vintage 1970s Oscar the Grouch puppet that I have had all my life, and it's lived with me for many years. It's survived a house fire. It has survived several moves, and it's something fun and very dear to me. I played with my children with this when the kids were little, and if you can look up, you can see there's quite a bit of wear in the mouth and then all around, but I'll keep them. So, becoming a puppeteer was something I was really interested in as a young boy, and my parents encouraged that. And one year for Christmas or birthday, I received this book, and as you can see, it's really it's smoke damage. Our house caught on fire in 1976, and fortunately, this survived for me. And I wrote my name in it too, and then my older sister wrote her name under there too. And I remember in first grade, I used to get reprimanded for making my R's that look like V's, and they are, that's how, but I still have this. It's becoming useful. Sadly, when I was a kid, I ripped some pages out, so I need to replace. I've seen it on eBay, but I will get to that someday. But this is something that has started me on my adventure in puppetry. Now, World Puppetry Day, my oh my, there's a whole world of it out there. And over the years, I have either purchased or have been given puppets from all around the world. And I use these puppets in my puppetry workshops that I've taught. I teach locally as a teaching artist at Wordplay right here in Northside. And I've also brought them to libraries and some schools as well. So I'll just dig out a couple of the puppets that we have sitting around here. My sister gave me this. And this is a Yeti. Let me bring him over there so he's not right on the light. From Tibet. And it's made out of actual yak fur. And this little Yeti guy has a yak, but he's in the trunk over there. And we've had him, brought him on television a few times for World Puppetry Day. There he is, a better light for him right there. And when I bring this to the puppetry classes, I tell the kids what it is, and they, oh, yeah. I said, well, it's just like wool. It's actually, it's clean, and it's a child's toy. But it's neat that it's this craft in a Yeti. And those of you who know me personally, you know that I love cryptids and Bigfoot and Sasquatch and Yetis and all those guys. So from Tibet, we have the Yeti. Moving around the globe, let's go over here. This is something really neat, and it's got a nice story. This is a street puppet, and real sparkly, from Kazakhstan. Now, the story behind this fellow is, back in 2010, my daughter was in preschool, and she told her preschool teacher that she has a father who's a puppeteer. And the teacher, Miss Jan, invited me to come in and entertain the kids in the class for a quick show. And that was way back in 2010. And it was kind of my mark as moving from being a hobbyist to performing for schools and then eventually libraries and lots of other wonderful things. So I performed at their school several times, and then in one of those visits, Miss Jan brought out this, and there's another a female puppet, and she says, I was given these, or she bought them, I believe, when she was visiting Kazakhstan, and she goes, I'd like you to have them. And I thought, oh my. And this was the first in the collection of the international puppets that have been given to me. And I bring these out to show children different styles. So here's a little street performer. I've seen some videos, and it has a light, and I guess he would perform on the street, and you would move it about, and they have music playing and pipes. But as you can see, he's really cool and sparkly, kind of like a disco globe there. I just noticed that with these TV lights under there. So we will put our street musician back over here. Thank you, sir. And gosh, 2013 or so, somehow I found out that the Columbus Art Museum was having an exhibit of puppets from the Czech Republic. In fact, they published a book about it, and it's called Strings Attached. Pretty cool. The Living Tradition of Czech Puppets. Now, puppeteers know that the Czech puppets are pretty cool, and it's a whole different style. It's kind of working a marionette in with a rod puppet, and it's been going on for hundreds of years, really. It's a culture over there that is puppet theater still, and there's puppets in the street, and there's puppet shops. I've never been there. I've only visited through YouTube. However, one day I'll get there. The next best thing was buying the book and going to that puppet exhibit, and I was just so happened to purchase a little Czech puppet. And I think he's the Frog Prince. We have a princess that goes along with it. She could have been a bride or a ballerina or something, but this is the Czech Frog Prince. And I bring these to my school demonstrations and my workshop to show children the rod style. Here, we'll give you a little close-up, and it goes through the head of the puppet down into the body, and they're just little wooden legs. Now, some of the Czech puppets, and some are much larger style, and if you Google it, or even on YouTube, there is some fantastic videos, and I'm not going to even attempt saying the name because I always mess it up, but it's a father and a son, and then a little girl and her grandmother and a dog, and there was a very popular Czech puppets and characters. Anyone who's watching, you can leave us a message if you remember the names. I always mess up the pronunciation because it's a little weird for my mouth. However, I highly recommend you check it out. So, moving around the globe, we'll put our little Frog Prince away. I made a note. I purchased that in March of 2013. My goodness, 7 years ago. We have this. Talk about international puppets. This little fellow is more of a souvenir. And I untangled it, and now he's a little tangled. Let me move that around. And this is a little man that came from Mexico when neighbors of ours went and visited. Thank you, Randy and Susanna. All right, I'm going to just turn around here. And he is a little folk craft. He's just made out of some sticks and wood, and then he has, I believe it's probably paper mache on his head, and the legs are kind of wonky. I need to fix that, but I had this untangled right before we went on, and now he's a little tangled, so I'll just hold him up like that. But he is a little more of a souvenir type of puppet. I don't know if puppeteers in Mexico would necessarily perform with these. They're probably some of their style. But it's more of a handicraft type of thing that people would buy as a souvenirs. But I'm very appreciative that our neighbors, Randy and Susanna, purchased this for me some years ago and gave it to me as a Christmas gift, if I recall. There, almost got that done. There. Whoop. There. Huh. Yep. Well, sort of, but there he is, little Mexican marionette. All right, I am going to grab a quick swig of water because there's a frog in my throat. We thank you for tuning in here on our live webcast here on the Wump Mucket Puppets Facebook Live. We've got a silly name, but it's ours. Now, some more puppets I think you want to see because we've got them. I teach on Saturday mornings when we're able to at Wordplay in Cincinnati. And one of the styles of puppetry I've been working that's been very popular with the kids, we have been doing, if I move them over there, rod puppets. Or it's not rod. Pardon me. These are shadow puppets, and they're just a very simple cutout cardboard on a barbecue skewer and just using masking tape to hold it on. And if anyone's watching at home, you can let us know who you think these characters are. I've lost one there. There's a little girl, and because she's just a silhouette, and there are 3 bears. Goldilocks and the 3 bears. And the kids have been using these. I've used an overhead projector to help them because that way they could put it right on the projector and manipulate it rather than on a big screen. But we do have something we can try with that. And the children have been wonderful. They were like fish to water to play with these and then make their own. And I encourage children to make their own. In fact, we'll talk a little bit that toward a couple more minutes left, but these are shadow puppets. Yeah, if I hold it over there, you can see it. There is the Papa Bear. There he is. And the Mama Bear. Remember that? And the little baby bear. And of course, Goldilocks. And she moves away. Now, we've got a couple more to show. I think of this kind of like a show and tell. And we like you that you're watching out there. Let us know you're watching. Say hello, ask questions while we've got a bit of time. Hello to Mike and hello to Brad. This is a piece of my past. In 2001, I went through kind of hard time in my life. And puppetry brought me back to a better place. And if you're interested in detail, go to our website, wumpmucketpuppets.com, and there was a documentary made about that time of my life, and it's about a 10-minute film, so you can give that a watch. But this fellow, whose eyes need to be refixed, is the Bagel Kid. And I learned after making this in 2001 or 2002, I made it way too heavy. And it's really heavy. And it was a styrofoam ring that I covered in paper mache and then glued on the arms, and he has a cape. And I need to rebuild him now that my building skills are considerably better, because I just have pins holding his eyeballs on there, and they had a piece of, looks like duct tape to hold him on, but his eyes, it's kind of funny, kind of got a Cookie Monster-ish look. And it started off as a little comic strip that I drew in a sketchbook and then made the puppets. And it's kind of foodstuff superheroes. But that's the Bagel Kid. So he is my earliest adult puppet build in, I think, 2002, because I do remember bringing him to Potlatch, which is a annual gathering of puppeteers up at the Potawatomi Inn in Pokagon, Indiana. And if you're interested in puppetry, I highly recommend that you check it out. Plus, while we're here, Kukla Fest. Yes, I really hope that Kukla Fest is not canceled because I love Kukla Fest. It is a wonderful festival at the Oxbow School of Arts in Sagatuck, Michigan. Kukla Fest, once again, part of my interest in Burchill Strim. Burr was a teacher there during the summer at Oxbow School of Arts, and the Village Puppeteers, Mike and Larry, hello Mike and Larry, they brought it back, and I went last year, and it was amazing. I'm registered to go again this year, and I really hope that it happens. But I understand if it may get postponed. But as a puppeteer, it is a really wonderful time. Now, more about puppets in my lifetime. I have got here a little piece of my past, and those of you who have followed Wump Mucket Puppets over the years may remember.
Hi, it's me, Coleman #1.
And I'll put him on this hand because he could fit on any hand. Coleman #1 was a puppet that I purchased in 1974. I was 10 years old, and he stayed with me all my life. It's just a real simple, just tube of fur with a piece of a tissue box as a mouth and little pom-poms. I glued the googly eyes on as a boy, and remarkably, they have stayed all those years. So Coleman #1 came back into my life when I became a dad, and I would entertain my children with them. And Coleman was originally called
Furry Guy, because, well, I'm furry, you know. Well, I guess I'm a guy.
But then the mouth plate started to fall apart, and he's really small. See, there's my hand, and there's Furry Guy, Coleman #1. So I have to squish my hand inside him really much. So eventually, it was time to rebuild him. And with the help of Ryan Moore and my wife Laura...
Well, it's me! Wait! Deja vu! What's going on? Are we on the Twilight Zone?
And this is Coleman #2, so you can see he's a better looking puppet.
Hey, what are you talking about?
But he is almost double the size. Let me back up there. He's quite larger than Coleman #1, because when he works up on stage, he's kind of probably like this, and Furry Guy would be way down here, really small. But we keep him in a box or in a bag.
Hey, I want to come out more.
But they're lots of fun, and it's something to remember where you come from. But you can see the basic idea kind of transferred. We gave him arms,
but no feet. Hey, at least you have arms.
And they're still with us, but they're a Sasquatch. That's what I was trying to get back to, making creatures and things that I enjoy and love to see. So Coleman the Sasquatch has been a very popular character within the Wump Mucket Puppets. Even as a Furry Guy, kids liked him. Sometimes they called him
a furry little worm. But now I'm a Sasquatch, but could you please build me feet?
And we'll put him back over there because we're almost at the end of our time. If you enjoyed us, please give us a click below and let us that you like us. And here's the big announcement. I am going to start doing 2, now that we've learned out how to kind of figure this out with the lighting and such, webcast right here on the Wump Mucket Puppets Facebook page. We're going to go for Tuesdays at 2. That is Eastern time. And that is when we're going to do building and crafting. And if you tuned in yesterday, where did I put that? Oh, I just had it down here. Well, there's a picture. Oh, here it is. Under. If you tuned in yesterday, you saw I made this X the Owl in celebration of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Oh, nifty galifty there. Oh, well, I really like that. Looks like me, a little bit smaller. Little fun craft to show kids how to make some things like this. So on Tuesdays, we're going to do puppet crafting and simple things with cardboard and paper and felt and fabric and little things. Try to keep it down to simple gluing a bit and take you a little bit behind the scenes. And then on Thursdays, once again at 2, that seems to be a good time for us around our house because we have to move things around. I will do a kind of improv little puppet show thing, and we'll keep these down to 15-20 minutes. I think it's a good nice little comfortable type of thing, not a full big show. And I was always trying to be over ambitious and trying to set up the stage, and we had the lights and everything going on, and it was kind of wonky. And then I got sick, but much better, feeling great, in fact. And we appreciate that you are joining us here. And this will be, lots of fun, so we can talk. We got a message there from Mike. Thank you very much, he says. And then Shelly, we really like your puppets. Thank you for showing us. And please keep on making more. I most certainly will. I don't have them here. The one I just built just a few months ago, Quincy. There's some pictures on the Facebook page, so we'll bring Quincy out, and I'll just do little bits with them here like this, and I think that'll be lots of fun. We can just tell some stories, maybe read some, and we'll take your questions too. Think about them. If you have any questions about how to make puppets at home for kids or grown-ups even, or puppeteers, if you want to share some of your information, we welcome it. Always trying to learn and to share. If you ever notice my hashtags that I put mostly on Instagram, share joy, share knowledge, Puppets rock. So thank you.